Welcome to Joy of Business Radio, hosted by Joy of Business facilitators from around the world, with special shows from Simone Milasas, the founder and creator of Joy of Business. Are you bored or dissatisfied with your work or business? Joy of Business is an invitation to a completely new way of creating. Did you know your business and job can actually be fun and joyful? If what you are currently doing isn't working for you, listen into this show full of pragmatic tools from Access Consciousness, which change everything in business, from money to finance, staff, creativity, productivity, communication, and beyond. Joy of Business Radio, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
So welcome everyone to today's radio show. My name is Marnie Barranco. I'm a Joy of Business facilitator. And today we're going to talk about out of the box with interns. So I have 4 lovely interns on the call with me today. We've got Leandra and Pam and Nikki and Denise. And I have had the pleasure of working with them for the last couple of months. So if you're not familiar with Joy of Business and what it is, really clear and simple, it's a set of trainings and classes that are offered around the world that are designed to just do what the name says, give you joy in business. So oftentimes our point of view about business is that it's serious or that it's hard work, or somewhere we pick up the idea that, you know, we should have our own business, we should be in business because that's the way we're going to have freedom and that's the way we're going to have money and that's the way we're going to have security. And so we create things, but then we don't have the joy and the satisfaction of it. We have the nightmare and the struggle and the challenge of it. So Joy of Business is all about a different possibility with that. And the founder and owner of Joy of Business, Simone Milasas, says, if you wake up in the morning, you're in business. So if you're listening to this and you go, you know what, I don't own my own business, I don't even have a career, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm a college student, whatever the thing may be, if you wake up in the morning, you're in business because your life is your business. So what possibilities are available and what new way of doing things can you choose that actually creates more joy, more ease, more fun, more play in your life? So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about our interns. So one of the things that Joy of Business has done over the years is at different times we bring in interns. So we kind of send out a, hey, is anybody interested in coming to work with Joy of Business, learning some of the things that we do, creating with us on the things, the projects we're creating, and, you know, what kinds of things do you like to do and what would you like to contribute to? And so with this particular round of interns, gosh, we had a lot of people that applied for it, and we narrowed it down to 7, and I've got 4 of those on the call with me here today. And really how this particular radio show, the Out of the Box with Interns, came about is we were on a check-in call just chatting, and somehow the topic came up with those of us who work with Joy of Business of how different it was from the other things that we did before we became a part of the Joy of Business team. So me, for example, I've worked in corporate America for a lot of years, and I knew the corporate world extremely well, and it was a lot about getting things right and not messing things up and not making mistakes, and you wanted to look good, but you didn't want to look too good because you didn't want to be too much of a threat. So there was this whole like rules of engagement and what was expected and what was accepted and what was required. And so it was a lot of stress and a lot of drivenness and a lot of, you know, really trying to get the right answer and do things the way that someone else told you to do them. And then I got hired by Simone to be her assistant, and working with Joy of Business was one of the things that I worked with her on. And I remember getting my first email for a meeting, and it said, you know, create meet in the title of the subject line. And I was like, what does that, what are we going to do? We're just going to get on a meeting and create? What is that? Who does that? It's always about, you know, State of the Union and yeah, crossing the T's and dotting the I's and all of that kind of thing. So it was really a whole new space of being able to do business from a place of creation and from a place of asking questions and from a place of what's fun for me and from a place of what am I good at? What capacities do I have? So it was a whole new area that I was invited to play in, and which has totally changed my world. And that's one of the things that we look to do with our interns is to actually give them a taste of Joy of Business and a taste of business fun different. So with that, as an introduction. Interns, welcome. Thank you for joining me on the call today. And I would love to just hear from you. And my first question to you is, with your time, and these guys are all about 2 months into their internship with Joy of Business. So with the 2 months that you've been here so far, what would you say that you've learned about doing business differently? So do you have a similar story of what your experience was maybe over here with jobs and careers, and then what kind of you've gleaned so far about doing business differently?
So this is Nikki.
Jump in first?
I'll jump in first. And one of the things that I noticed, first of all, I was so excited to be a part of the internship. I was almost too excited to tell anyone in case I really messed up and got kicked out really early. and that's one of the things that is totally different. You know, there's no wrongness in the calls. You know, we get onto meetings and we're invited to do the work that's fun for us and try different things. And if we try something and we discover that we thought would be fun and we discover actually it's not fun, I'm not enjoying it, I'm not good at it, whatever, it's like, okay, that's fine. What else would be fun for you? What else would you prefer to do? And that was just like, wow, fabulous.
Thank you for that.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Is it Leandra?
That's Leandra, yes. I was going to say I completely, agree with Nikki. And also we are so welcome to have the space to create with you. It's not like, you know, the intern, go do this. Now, you know, what can you create? Can you do this? You know, and if I don't know something, can someone then teach me how to do it? Can train me? And it's so fast and it's amazing, so dynamic. And I used to think I would be overwhelmed at the beginning. It's like, oh, my God, so much. But no, because it's this energy of you have your time, you have your space, and just go and do it. So I'm really glad to be here also.
Thank you for that. Denise or Pam, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, well, one of the things when I applied to be part of the program, I was like, I really want to see what things are like and experience what things are like in this business, because it's business done different. Okay, well, what is that? And one of the two things that I've really appreciated, aside from what's already been told, is the willingness and to change things on a dime when it's, oh, this isn't working. What can we do different? And then something I think it was said at our last group meeting is that every time someone gets comfortable, someone changes things. So it's all about change and not getting wonderful, good, perfect. It's like keep adding more and more, and that whole energy of it. So the activities are still a lot of the same activities that you would do in the business, but the way that they're done and the agility with which they're done is just so different.
Thank you for that. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yes. For me, even like the application process was fun. We had a form online that we could fill in with different questions. It was not the regular application process, and it was just fun to do it. And I told a friend, hey, we get a list of things that we can do once we were in the internship, and we can choose what we like. It's not like you have to do it. You can choose what you like to learn about. And I learned things that I didn't know I was good at. So that's really cool. That is
very cool. And just to I love all of the pieces that you all hit on in this question, and thank you. So the first thing being, Nikki, you said, the whole thing of not wanting to tell anyone in case I messed up. And so if we could take that, if you're listening to this, so whatever your business is, whatever the things that you're involved in, what if you actually gave yourself permission to mess it up? What if you actually gave yourself permission to not get it right? And what if you allowed yourself to just really go from the common point of view of, I need to get it right and not mess it up, and gave yourself the space to choose and then be aware of what your choice created, and then go, oh, yeah, that worked, that's awesome, or, oh, that really did not create what I desired, so I wonder what else I can choose. So how much more would you create in your life? How much more fun would you have, actually, if you were willing to just give yourself, even if no one else gives it to you, would you give it to yourself to have the permission and the space to choose and be aware of what your choice creates and just have total allowance for you? And then Denise, you were talking about the discovery process, and I love that too. It's, again, when we allow ourselves to choose and then be aware of what our choice creates, rather than trying to get it right and have the right answer, we start to discover who we are, and we start to discover what we really enjoy and what we're good at that might actually surprise us. And I believe it was Pamela talked about changing on a dime. And that's the other thing. I was sitting on an airplane flying to, I don't know, I think it was Rome or something. And I happened to be sitting by someone who's a trainer for Amazon. And we were chatting about just different training things. And she was telling me about when the new CEO came on to Amazon. And she said, the thing that he says all the time, every memo he sends out, every time we have a meeting, is he says to all of the staff, today is day one, and the day we get to day two, we're done. And what he was, in essence saying is we've always got to be in the space of question. We've always got to be in the space of, if I was starting today, if I was choosing today, if my business, if my life wasn't existent yesterday, and I woke up this morning and decided to start with whatever I wanted to create, what would I choose? What would I change? What would I create? So when we really look at life, business, all the pieces in our life, from relationships to all of the other things, from the place of today's day one, and if there wasn't anything before today, if I was willing to change on a dime, then what would I choose today? Today's day one. And I love that. And I also love that you said that Simone functions from the moment things get comfortable, it's like, what can we change? Because the moment we get to the comfortable space, we're going in autopilot. And in that autopilot, we actually stop creating and we go into this maintaining. And you see it with businesses often. It's like a lot of times when businesses first start out, everything is about trying to overcome the problem. So you start out, you're kind of figuring out what you're doing, you're creating, you're starting. And then it's all about, oh, this was a problem, how do we fix it? Oh, here's another problem, how do we fix it? Oh, another problem over here, let's fix it, let's solve it. And then businesses often, when they mostly get all of the problems solved, and they have a system that essentially works, then they switch to maintaining. And everything becomes about, we figured it out, we're comfortable, it's going pretty smoothly now, so how do we actually maintain what we've created? So business done different is all about going beyond the autopilot and maintaining to actual creation. And we'll talk more about that in a minute.
No one needs to have a money problem, especially you.
Yeah, did you hear that? You have an unlimited and mostly unaccessed capacity to create money and a financial reality that works for you. Simone Milasas has a brand new book. It's called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And right now, when you go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com, if you pre-order the book, you'll get a free online course. What if you can create money in ways no one else can? Just go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com to get your copy today.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome back to Out of the Box with Interns. And before the break, we were talking about businesses and the way that many of them function is they're either in the mode of trying to solve problems and everything is a problem to be solved, or sometimes they'll move beyond that into this sort of maintaining. They sort of work out the problems and then it becomes a maintaining of what they've created, a maintaining of what's currently working. But if you're not actually willing in your life, in your business, to go beyond maintaining into the energy of creation, then it's only going to last so long. And the energy of creation is always asking questions, always looking at what else and what next and what can I add and what needs to change. And if I was creating for the future, what would I know and what would I choose? And so we're talking about on this call with our interns about doing business differently. And one of the greatest ways that you could do business differently is to not be a problem solver and not be functioning from maintaining, but actually be creators of your life and of your business. And really a couple great examples of that. Blockbuster, I don't know if that's just a U.S. company, but we had a company called Blockbuster here in the United States, which was all about DVDs. You'd go into the store, they had every DVD you could imagine. You rent the DVD. And things started to change to Netflix and online things and more subscription-type based movies, and they were not willing to see the future. They were in the maintaining of what was at the time successful. And so when the new wave of all of the Netflix things came in, they went out of business. And same with Kodak. Kodak was the name of photography. Everybody knew Kodak. They were it. And when all of the things started to move more digital rather than rolls of film, they weren't willing to see. They actually didn't think it was going to take and keep, so they did not follow that wave. They didn't make changes for the future, and they also went out of business. So not problem solving, not maintaining, but actually the energy of creation and being aware of the future. So what I would love to ask the intern is what do you know about creation, and what has your internship with Joy of Business contributed to what you know about creation? Nikki, can I ask you, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to jump in first. Yeah, I mean, one of the main things that it's reminded me is that creation is so much fun. And, it is the pure joy of creating that the Joy of Business theme. And that it can be a reality. One of the things that I love about this internship is seeing the tools being used in action by you, by the other Joy of Business facilitators, and by Simone. Literally being in question, changing on a dime, and creating, and the speed as well. It's just phenomenal. I've loved it.
Thank you. It is fun, huh? Yes. Denise, would you like to add to that?
Yes, absolutely. For me, we're not given that much form and structure of this is what you have to do and exactly this way. We actually been given a task. Okay, write something about this topic, and you just go with it, and you can actually create without being having all those definitions and this already given way of doing it. So that's really the creation part, actually being free to create.
Yes. Can I ask any of you, was that at all a challenge for you when you first started, when you first became an intern for Joy of Business? So when we say no form and structure, when you look at most workplaces, most jobs, there's a lot of form and structure. And what we mean by that is that there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of to-dos and there's a lot of not to-dos, and you're given a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and then you're just basically told, learn it and then duplicate, mimic, copy it. And I know for me, I was really good at that. Like, give me the rules, give me the structure, and then I will find a way, no matter how miserable I might be and how bored or frustrated or whatever, I'll find a way to fit myself into that form and structure that you've decided business should be. So I was good at it. And then joy of business and no form and structure, and what Denise just said, like, yeah, create. What would you like to do? How would you like to do it? What do you know? And I had a moment of, what? How am I supposed to navigate this? It's so different. So I'm curious if any of you had a similar experience of that when you first started.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like, what? So I am the one that's going to go through? No one is telling me, giving me like this, you do this and you do that. So it was. I had a little bit of anxiety at first, but then I was like, no, just let it go and get into the energy of it, of the dazzle, of the group, of Joy of Business, of the team. And then you suddenly get it, okay, yeah, it's fine, you're free, just go and create and, then check and then go and create and check with your, we'll have team leaders kind of, telling us or, giving us tutorial to what we can do and, kind of showing us the ways, but not really telling us do this, do that, You guys ask us, but there's not much structure on it or much form. We follow what kind of, we think would work in whatever task we're doing, and it's amazing. I love it.
Cool. Pam, is there anything you would add to? Yeah, no, go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I found that whole no form and structure really, really challenging at first, because I didn't want to do it wrong. I was locked into the right and wrong and trying to get it right, and I really tied myself up with that. And on one of the projects, we'd been given. I said, "Oh yes, I'd love to do some writing," and we've been given some things we could write about, and a week to do it. And we're coming up to the week's follow-up call, and I hadn't done the writing because I just got so tied myself up, and I just hadn't done it. And I thought, I can't go to the meeting and say I haven't done it. I've had a whole week to do it. But I used the tools, the Access tools of, trying not to make myself wrong, even though I really was, and thought just show up and see what happens. And everyone was like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't done it. And everyone was like, cool. And just literally moved on. And that was, okay. Different.
Yeah, different. And what space does it open up? Because what we all have that tendency, I would say, to beat ourselves up or tie ourselves up in knots when we're not doing what we think we should do, which only constricts us more and stops creation more and locks us up more. It's like the vicious cycle.
Yes. Yeah, I can totally relate to, for me, it's like trying to not get it wrong. Yeah, it's definitely a desire to get it right, but let me not screw up. But one thing that I've really enjoyed about the just minimal form and structure that we're operating from here is, I'm kind of always coming up with ideas, and I've had an idea brewing for a while, and there was something where it was suitable for what we're doing here with the books. And so I submitted it, and then next thing you know, hey, can you work with so-and-so to make this happen? Well, oh, cool. How's it get any better than that? So it's like a place also to say, bring your ideas, and they don't just go on a shelf to hang out. It's like, people are actually considering them. And if it's something that's, has a place, it's like, boom, just get on it.
Yes, and that's really a key also of a way that business is done differently is so often it's about people are hired to do a particular job, and these are the responsibilities and the things that you do associated with this role, and then go do those things. And there's no question, there's no exploration. So when you actually invite people and empower them to ask questions and find out what they are good at, find out what's fun for them, then the whole business goes greater and bigger and becomes more amazing, because people are finding their capacities and finding the things that light them up and finding the things that they just do really well with ease, and everybody benefits. So a different point of view from a lot of businesses is allowing the space for that to be. And it definitely creates a lot more. Thank you for that. So anybody else want to add to that question of something that you know about creation? So let's look at another question. When you start something new, there's times for most of us where we do that familiar thing of going into overwhelm, of there's too much going on, or it's too new, or there's a lot happening at once. And so it can be really easy to get that, my list is too long, I've got too much on my plate. And there's that energy of frustration or stress or overwhelm that a lot of people in business are very, very familiar with. So I would love to ask all of you, did that ever come up for you? Has that ever come up during your internship? And what things did you choose to change it and to move from the overwhelm to actually having more ease with what you were doing? And Pamela, would you like to go first?
Yeah, well, like the things that I've been working on, there's been the tool that I'm working on, and then also on the website, just like, oh my God, it kind of hitting this brick wall of like, where do I start? How do I actually get some momentum on this? And then actually sitting down and saying, right, I'm going to spend the next half hour or so and actually do something with it and see what happens. And so it's a matter of just kind of like putting aside all these expectations and everything and actually just doing something and making some progress, making some change, and getting some awareness. So, trying to figure out a new way to do something, it's not going to lead, I'm not going to have the exact straight path there. It's a little bit of that choose, and see what happens. So making the small choices and the small trust.
Yeah, choose, and making the small choices. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to The Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job, hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job, fun, play, joy, fun. Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Out of the box with interns, and I have 4 amazing interns on the call with me today. I've got Leandra and Nikki and Pamela and Denise, and we have been talking about business done different. We've been talking about creation, and we ended with talking about overwhelm, and when you have that sense of overwhelm, times they may have hit that in this internship and what they chose to move beyond it. And Pamela was talking about just the willingness to choose and keep choosing and the small choices and just keep moving, which is an amazing thing because often when we hit the overwhelm, what we do is stop. And sometimes it's just as simple as going, what can I choose now, and taking 1 or 2 more steps, and then all of a sudden it all changes. So I would love to ask that same question to the rest of you. Denise, would you like to talk about, was there a time when you hit that feeling of overwhelm, and how did you move through that into something else?
Yes, absolutely. I actually hit that very rarely as I'm bored pretty quickly. What you said before, as soon as you go into maintaining, you stop creating, and that's more the boring part. So, but when I hit that, it's usually because I'm not as well organized as I could be. So as soon as I know what I have to do and when it's due, so I started putting up Post-it notes on my computer with just, or whatever kind of list you like, to see what's urgent, what do I have to do daily, just a way to remind me and to see what has to be done. And as soon as I see what I have to do, I know I can do it.
Cool. I love that. And I love that when we're willing to just, again, ask a question and instead of stopping, look for what pragmatic solution there is, and then things show themselves. Nikki, would you like to talk about that? Has there been a point where you hit some overwhelm?
Yes, I was really overwhelmed at first, particularly with all the different channels, all the different forms of communications. We had the Slack channel, and there were about 3 or 4 channels within Slack, and then we had Skype, and there were 3 or 4 within that, and then we had WhatsApp as well. And remembering which message was where and where the link was that I had to go to actually do the link, to do the work. Sometimes it would take me like half an hour to find it, and I get more and more frustrated with myself. And and how did I get over that? I think I don't know, I struggled with it for a while actually, and I think I just thought, well, this isn't working, just come out of judgment and just do what you can with what you've got.
So basically you just chose. You made a choice to do something different. Who knew? And talk about business done different, and not the way that things often function, but it really is like your choice is the most powerful thing you have. And the moment you look at something and you go, wait a minute, I'm choosing this, and I'm choosing this for what reason? This is not working. What else can I choose? And then you choose it, everything changes. And it really can be that simple and that fast. Or the moment you go, wow, I'm doing overwhelm, and you know what? I'm going to stop it right now. I'm just, hello, stop it. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to choose something else. And then you move into something else, which is awesome. Leandra, how about you?
Well, Marnie, I just got really overwhelmed 15 minutes ago. I just feel that whatever time I go overwhelmed about any task that I am on, as I said before, I kind of stop. Sometimes I leave the computer, drink some tea, whatever, or even give some hours and come back. And then there's this sense of ease. And as you said, then I choose, okay, how can I see this in another way? How can I, then I research about whatever I feel stuck, or I ask for help actually Sometimes I think I go and poke a little bit too much, you guys, but you're so patient and like, yeah, just ask us whatever it is. And then again, with the energy, I just have this feeling that, just this space of be and everything's going to be all right and, oh, it's fine and you can make a mistake and you can do it again. And so that for me just brings me to this space, okay, I'll do it and everything's going to be all right or not.
Amazing. And when Leandra said 15 minutes ago, so what occurred is we're recording. We're a pre-recorded show that we're recording. And one of the things that she's learned during her internship is the tech side of this, but she hasn't actually been able to jump on a call and do it live. And she's doing the tech, and then her phone decided to drop. So something completely out of her control. And we're all kind of like, I wonder what we do now. So we popped in a little chat and asked our usual tech people, hey, and what do we do? And they told us what to do. So now we're back. But it's kind of funny because we're on a call out of the box with interns, and we've got interns doing all the things, and stuff happens, right? Like no matter what, we're going about our day, we're going about our business, we're going about our life. Stuff happens that we had no control of. It shows up, and then you go, okay, now I have a choice, freak out, stress out, and we all have that initial, what now? What do I choose now? What do I do now? And that's the moment of we can either spiral down into the franticness of trying to fix or solve, or this didn't go the way I wanted it to the open, spacious flow of, okay, what's next? What can we choose now? What's going to create ease here? And it's all the willingness to choose, to ask questions, the willingness to notice the tight, the constricted, the contraction, and then to go, okay, so what can we choose? And can you imagine if we lived every moment of our lives that way with whatever showed up in front of us, no matter if the initial response is like a punch in the gut or a tight in the chest or a little bit of a freak out, to just pause and go, all right, this is what's here. What can I choose now? What a huge
amazing because
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, because I don't feel like, oh my God, I made a mistake. That wasn't, there's not, I'm not in this space. So it's like, okay, that happened and it's fine. Choose it on.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Joy of Business.
Yeah, me too. What would it take to have some more of the space of that in the world? Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so another question that I have for all of you is, from your time so far, and I know we've got more time, have there been capacities that you have that you either didn't know you had or you actually acknowledged them more than you've acknowledged them before, that you've discovered? And if so, what are those capacities? And can you talk a little bit, just about what you became aware of with some of the gifts and capacities that you have? Denise, would you like to jump in on that one?
Yes. So for me, copywriting is something that I didn't know I was good at. I've written before, but not a lot. It's like I go to a museum and I enjoy it when I go, but I don't choose to go there all the time. So I've written occasionally and it was fun, but I didn't know that I could actually do it that well. And there's already articles and blogs approved to be published, which is really cool. So how does it get better, and what else can I create here, and what else do I know?
One of the fun things about working with interns is when they do jump in and do something and you're like, whoa, that was amazing. You clearly have a capacity with that. And so I have to say that the very first thing you sent was exactly that. I went, wow, this is awesome. And like Denise said, she's had some blogs already go up, and she's got quite a capacity with copywriting. And I love that she jumped in with not even quite sure, would she like it, would she be good at it. She tried it, and then voila, it's been quite a gift and a contribution. So thank you.
And I was quite in shock when I got your reaction to, oh, this is really great. Like, thank you. I was really surprised.
Cool. Nikki, how about you? Any capacities that you discovered that you had, or things that you found were fun that you've been able to acknowledge?
Yes, something that I do or did automatically. I didn't even realize it was a thing or a capacity. I was just, if there was a Zoom call, like for I would automatically type up notes as I went along, and it was just for my own thing. And I didn't realize that that's pretty much what oracling is, and being an oracle. So I've been exploring and expanding oracling, and I just love it. And it's such a, one of the amazing things about working with the Joy of Business team is, you open a chink in, like, oh, this looks exciting, the chink in the door, and the Joy of Business say, oh, throw the door open, come and join us, and so from this oracling, I've working on a manual for one of the classes, which is so exciting for me and such a gift. And so it's been like so much fun. I didn't even realize that it was a thing or it was a skill. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and if you're listening and you're wondering what an oracle is, what we use for that term is somebody who, during our classes, our training, telecalls, all of those things, I would say I would compare it to taking notes, but it's actually way more than taking notes. It's really being in the energy and in sync with whoever's facilitating the training and writing down the things that they say and bringing up the processes and the tools that they're using and really capturing the energy of the training and the class in a way that we can, as Nikki said, put it in a manual or, send it out in different clearings we send to people. So it's a skill that requires a lot of presence. And it's been fun to watch you step into that too, Nikki. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about capacities that we have that we're discovering and acknowledging.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job, hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job, fun, play, joy, fun. Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Out of the Box with Interns. I'm Marnie Barranco, and I have Leandra, Nikki, Pam, and Denise on the call with me today. And we were talking about capacities that they have found and acknowledged about themselves. And one of the things about acknowledging something is when we are willing to acknowledge something, it actually grows bigger. And when we don't acknowledge it, we actually stop it from being present in our life and from growing bigger. So we're not actually taught very much to look at the capacities we have, the gifts that we have, and acknowledge them. We kind of get the message growing up often that, don't be too cocky and don't brag too much, and you should be humble. And the opposite is actually true. It's not about bragging and being cocky, but it is about looking at something and going, hey, I have a capacity for that, and I'm going to acknowledge it now. And when we do that, it just allows it to keep expanding and growing. So, Denise, would you like to talk about the capacities that you've discovered that, did I ask you? I asked you. Pamela. Pamela, would you like to talk about capacities?
Well, I'll go with one fairly mundane to start. I'm a compulsive note taker, and I normally take notes by hand. And I was on a meeting yesterday, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take notes on computers so I can share it out quickly. And I was just amazed at how easy it was to do that. And so that was a nice discovery for me. And the other capacity I've had, I'm still not really clear what to do with it, although as I've been considering it here, I've got a bit more clarity, is I'll be in a meeting, a session, or just throughout this internship, there's been several instances where I'll be hearing people talk, and it's like, wait, I know that. And so for me, it's been acknowledging what I know and the awarenesses that I get, and having more confidence in that.
I love that. And acknowledging what you know is one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself in your entire life, and especially in business, because how often do we actually buy the point of view that the experts, whoever they are, and whoever decided that's what they were and made them experts, but how often do we decide that they know more than we do, rather than being willing to acknowledge what we do actually know? Huge capacity to acknowledge that we know. And so thank you for that. How about you, Leandra?
I discovered that, I've done a graphic for one of the products on Kajabi. Kajabi is a platform that Simone and Access has to sell products. And so I'm involved in the project of Kajabi, and I asked Emily, can I just play with it and make the graphics? Yeah, go for it. I'll ask one of the designers that already, does a graphic, but play with it. So I did it, and came up with it, and everyone really liked it. And at the same time, the other guy had sent his design, and everyone went with mine. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. A professional did, a really professional graphic, and my first time doing something, and everyone really enjoyed it and went for that. So I was really, really happy to see that I could just, using my creativity and just feel free to do what I was doing. It really worked well.
That's awesome. And it was a very, very cool graphic. Really, really cool.
Thank you.
One of the questions, since we're talking about acknowledging and acknowledging capacities, one of the questions that you can play with is, what capacities do I have with business that I've not yet acknowledged? And if you'll ask that question, just ask it, what capacities do I have with business that I've not yet acknowledged? Then the capacities that you do have will start to show up, and you become more aware of them. Even if you think you know nothing about business because you've never had a business or done anything business-like in your life, that doesn't mean you don't have capacities with it. So would you be willing to ask the question and see what shows up for you? So to kind of wrap this up as we're coming closer to the end, first I want to say thanks to all of you brave interns for being on here. So those of you listening, if you've never done a radio show, you just, there's this whole thing of something being new and what are they going to ask me and what if I don't have anything to say, or all of those things that like to run through our heads. And they all said yes to coming on here. They've all been just fabulous and amazing to work with. And I'm super, super grateful for everything that they've contributed and continue to contribute to me and to our whole Joy of Business team. And yeah, just outstanding. And the question I would love to end with for all of you is, what is one of your favorite access tools that you use in business? Is there a question? Is there a process? Is there a tool that you really like to use when it comes to business? And again, your life is your business, so it can be in any regard that you'd like it to be. And is there someone who would like to jump in and go first on that?
I would go with what else is possible here. I use that the whole time, if I get stuck or whatever, with drug business or with other things that I do, what else is possible here? What else is possible here that I have not acknowledged yet?
Yes. Love that question, and always, 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 no matter what you come up against, to ask what else is possible. Amazing question. Pam, how about you?
Yeah, well, that was the first one that came to mind. What else is possible? Totally underutilized. You start getting wrapped around their accent. Oh yeah, what else is possible? And then also the interesting point of view is one that I've been really using a lot in the last month, and just recognizing or just beginning to recognize where I come up against my points of view. And it's like, oh, okay. So it's not solid, it's not real, it's just a point of view, and having that space of possibly being able to change it.
Yes, and if you're listening to this and wondering what interesting point of view is, it's really simply whatever point of view comes up for you. For example, you have to work hard to have money. If you have the point of view that you have to work hard to have money, then that point of view is going to create your experience, and so your experience will be that you work hard to make money. But if you look at that and go, oh, I have the point of view that I have to work hard to have money, interesting point of view, I have that point of view, and you continue to say, interesting point of view, I have that point of view, then that point of view, which has been really real to you, solid, true, concrete, it starts to not be real and solid and concrete. It starts to be just an interesting point of view. And when it's just interesting, then you can ask a question and you can change it to something that's actually going to create greater. And if you will use what else is possible, that Leandra said, an interesting point of view, I have that point of view, for every point of view you have, you will literally change everything in your life. Who am I missing? Nikki, what would you say is one of your favorite business tools?
Well, you nailed it when you said it was just choice, when I was going into the funky state of overwhelm and all of that. So choice, and being able to choose again and choose again, and also recognize what we're choosing. So to recognize when I was choosing to be in overwhelm, to recognize, I mean, at one point I was having a bit of I was calling it my intern meltdown. It seemed like everything was like, and so I literally I chose to go into a bit of a meltdown, had a bit of a 2-year-old tantrum, and really enjoyed it, and then got over myself and chose something fresh. So choice.
Yes, choice is amazing, and I love 2-year-old tantrums. I have some sometimes too. And when I do it, is exactly like, you know what? I'm going to pitch a fit right now for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and choose something else. So choice and total allowance for your choice too is, yes, creates way more space and joy and ease and all of that stuff. Thank you. And Denise, how about you?
I love to ask when it's the time to do something. Like, when you feel you should be doing all the work that you have to do, it just doesn't feel right. And are you procrastinating, or is it not the right time? And I find sometimes I feel I'm being lazy, but in the end, whenever it is time to do it, it is so much easier and fast to complete the task. And that's what I use in business always, and at home as well. And asking questions with my new capacity of writing that I wasn't aware of before. I ask questions. What can I write here? What can people hear? What would they be interested in? And also coming on this radio show, I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and it didn't matter, and we can ask questions and talk about it.
Thank you for that. And I just want to say again, thanks to all of the interns for your courage, your creativity, your choice, for the just getting up in the morning and doing all of the things that we've talked about on the call today, asking questions and choosing and moving forward and having allowance for yourself and acknowledging your capacities and just continuing to choose more and to choose greater every single day. Super grateful for all of that. And for those of you that have been listening in, grateful for you being with us here today. And there's so many takeaways from this conversation, from everything from wherever you are in your life, looking to solve the problems of your life or looking to maintain the status quo. Would you be willing to stop that and to actually choose creation? And the way that you choose creation is to ask questions. And really all of these tools that everyone just shared, to ask what else is possible, to be interesting point of view, to keep choosing and to be allowance for what your choices are and to be aware of what those choices create, and then just to keep choosing some more. And what Denise was just saying, whether you sit down to write something, whether it's an email, an article, or you're going to, make a really important business decision, whatever it may be, or you're looking at your child and looking at, as part of your business is taking care of your household and raising children, to look at them and whatever's going on, to ask, what's going to create the most here? If I was choosing to create a future, what would I choose? If I was choosing ease, joy, and possibility, what do I know? What would I choose? What would I change? What would I create? Thanks for joining us.